Welcome to the inaugural episode of Gametime. I'm your host, Kevin Solomon. Unlike our previous show, The 30-Minute Drill, where we discuss specific sports performances, here on Gametime, we will talk about timeless events and sports situations. Breaking away from the traditional set, we're going outside the box. When we return, Andrew Monaghan and Chris Massood introduce their new segment called Gold Bits with beloved Patriots coach John Goldstein. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
There are a lot of cats here. I'm not sure they all like me. Please help me. I don't really feel safe around this many cats. I feel outnumbered. Adopt one today. It's not quite a kitten, but maybe it's time for you to adopt a cat today at the Wayne Animal Shelter. I think we all know it could use the cardio.
Yeah?
Boy, I'm about to go talk to Goldie.
Yeah, let's go. I'm serious.
I'll find out what's on the basketball.
Go on, Andrew.
Not bad.
How you doing, Gold?
Chris, how we doing today?
Listen, we need to find out what's going on with the basketball team. What's the latest news?
Hoops. Well, midway through the season right now, we're 6-6. The boys team playing well. We're in a lot of tight games. All the games have been competitive. Just don't have that signature win yet. You know, that win over one of those top squads that kind of puts us on the map. So nobody knows where we are right now.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. We got the Paul tonight, though, right?
Big game. Big game. Anytime you play another team from the same town, kind of gets a lot of fan interest, and DePaul's very good. You know, I think they have 2 losses. So it's going to be a tough one for us, but again, we think we're, you know, every bit as good as them, and, you know, we're going to take our shot and hopefully come out on top tonight.
Right. So, in comparison to last year's team, I mean, we got a pretty solid squad this year. I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, like you said, we haven't had that one good solid win so far. But in comparison to last year's team, who would you say is better?
Between last year's team and this year's team?
Yeah.
Well, they're 2 different teams. Last year we had 2, dominant scorers in Steve Lacarica and Joe Russo. This year we're kind of spreading the ball out more. We have 4 guys averaging 8 points or higher, led by Joe Brandel's averaging about 15. The big man from Sudan, Chris Fonte, is averaging about 11. And then you throw in the 2 juniors, Sam Pressler and Matt Heskins. They're both over 8.
All right, well, I mean, like you said, we had 2 dominant scorers last year pretty much, and we're spread out this year. But wouldn't you say it's better to have a more spreading out offense?
Sure. Gets everybody involved. Makes it tougher for the teams that we're playing. You know, in the past, the teams that we were playing could focus on shutting down 2 guys. You could sometimes see some gimmick defenses like triangle and 2, box and 1. With this year's team, they really can't do that. You know, if they try and take away, say, Joe Brandel, then, you know, Heskins and Pressler are going to hurt you. Fonte being as big as he is, he's a tough matchup for anybody in the county. And we're getting strong play off our bench from guys like Mike Drees, Peter Davies, Matt DeBlock, Mike Quinn. You know, we got 8 guys chipping in, you know, real hard. We're tough to defend.
How's the team defensively this year?
Well, believe it or not, we lead the league in defense. And when I say in defense, that's where, you know, the scoring average of everybody compared to the other teams in the league, we're holding teams to the least amount of points. So that's what's keeping us in games. You know, defensively, we just set a school record with block shots against Lakeland. We had 24. Fonte had 11 block shots. I mean, he's a big dude. You know, I mean,
crazy.
you know, if I had the ball and I was coming down the lane and I saw that guy, you know, I don't know if I'd be, you know, so interested in coming down the lane again.
Well, what's the situation with the girls? I mean, do you see similar things with that?
Yeah, I mean, the girls are off to a good start. You know, it's a new league for both of us. Girls are off to a good start. I think as we sit here today, they're 8-4, which is very good. They lost their leading scorer from last year, much like we did. You know, they lost Holly. You know, they're getting very good senior leadership from Sully and Bridget, and you know, they're getting a lot of scoring from Christy Cherub. Their future is great. You know, they got a lot of young kids contributing. You know, between Cherub and Litsky. You know, and I know they bring Drees off the bench, so they're tough.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the schedule and the schedule change. That obviously seems to be a big factor this year. Would you agree?
Very big factor. You know, the boys went from being probably the favorite in the NBIL to being considered a middle-of-the-pack team in this new NJTCC. It's not really affecting the girls as much. You know, the NBIL was a powerhouse for the girls, so them leaving the NBIL actually, I think, was a benefit to them. So they're finding life in the NJTCC, you know, much better than we are.
Now I'm going to bring this question up.
Anything, Andrew. Anything you want to ask me, you go right ahead.
How do you think the Goonies contribute to the basketball team?
The Goons, you know, the Goons are good when they're controllable. All right, you know, as long as they're not saying anything derogatory, they can really lift the team. I know that our guys really get excited when they see all their friends in the stands, but that can be a detriment too sometimes, because sometimes they're going to try and show off for their friends, and we kind of preach to them, you really got to pay attention to what's going on the court. Don't pay attention in the stands. You know, we're all human. We hear what's going on in the stands, so every now and then I laugh when I hear some of the comments. I mean, they're kind of funny sometimes, but as long as they're not being derogatory, I have no problem with it.
My favorite was I think we were playing PV and the other coach was wearing a pretty nice green sweater
That was a
vest.
great chant. That's one of the ones that made me laugh. When they started chanting sweater vest, I thought that was hysterical.
All right,
But there was one chant that night that I didn't like. I'm not going to bring it out. I'm not going to say it, but there was one chant that I didn't like.
I'm sure nobody remembers.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
But the sweater vest chant, that was great.
All right, well, we're looking forward to the team going hard tonight against DePaul. Should be a good game.
You coming to the game?
Yeah, I'll be there, of course.
All right,
You're
because
crazy.
I know that DePaul usually packs their stands, so if we can get a good group there,
The Goonies will
you
show
know,
up.
that'll help.
Take over. It's a home game for us.
All right, but you'll be nice, right?
Oh, yeah, you know, come on. All right, well, we got to get going.
All right, hey, at any time, again, you know, my house is your house, my office is your office, my locker room's your locker room, so anytime you need something, you know where to find me.
Thanks, Gold.
You got it.
As this decade draws to a close and a new one begins, we take time to reflect on the history of sports. Some plays stand out in our mind as great displays of athleticism, while others may seem like luck. Ryan Katine, Tyler Rubino, and Max Seidman took time and asked the public what they thought on their new segment called Makes or Breaks. Let's take a look.
In 2001, Kurt Warner and the Rams defeated the Titans in what was later called the greatest show on turf. That game came down to the final seconds. The Titans drove to the St. Louis 10-yard line with 6 seconds remaining, but on the final play of the game, Rams linebacker Mike Jones tackled Titans wide receiver Kevin Dyson on the 1 yard short of the goal line to prevent a potential game-tying touchdown. Now, in your opinion, was this play a matter of bad luck for the Titans or a great play by the Rams linebacker?
So now we're here with Max Gold. And Max, we're asking you, in the 2001 Super Bowl when the Rams played the Titans, did you think that that play was just a lucky play by the Rams that the Titans wide receiver didn't score a touchdown, or was it just a great tackle by the Rams linebacker for the Rams to win the Super Bowl?
That was absolutely a lucky play by the Rams. The Titans outplayed the Rams that game. They should have won that game. They had all the momentum. They were going downfield. They called the perfect play, and he got lucky that he didn't get into the end zone. It had nothing to do with the Rams' skill. The Titans are the better team. Let's go Titans.
So there you have it. Rams 2001 Super Bowl win, just a lucky win.
The 2007 Super Bowl was arguably the most memorable one to date. Eli Manning's pass to David Tyree involved these two players recording an outstanding throw and catch in the last 2 minutes of Super Bowl 42 on February 3, 2008. With Manning escaping from defenders, he threw the ball downfield to Tyree, who pinned the ball on his head, becoming the key play in the game, resulting in a Plaxico Burress touchdown, which capped the Giants' defeat over the undefeated Patriots. Was this luck for the inexperienced receiver, or was this just pure skill?
So, Jared, Super Bowl 42, David Tyree makes that great catch where he pins the ball against his head, and just amazing catch. Do you think this is skill, or was that just pure luck?
I think it was a little bit of both. David Tyree, pro football player, he's a world-class athlete. But, that was just an absurd catch, But whatever, it gave the Giants what they needed to do to win.
And also in that play, Eli Manning, not a very mobile quarterback, evaded a couple of sacks there. Do you think that was skill or just luck?
I think that was a little bit of luck, too. Also skill, Like you said, Manning's not really a mobile quarterback. He likes the pass protection, likes being in the pocket. He's pretty uncomfortable out of it. So, I think it was pretty lucky that he escaped the tackles, stepped up, and made that nice throw to Tyree downfield.
So you heard it from Jared. The David Tyree play had some skill and a little bit of luck.
Michael Jordan is famous for an unbelievable amount of game-winning shots. But of all of his fantastic buzzer beaters, his best came in Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Championship, when Jordan was playing in his final game before retiring as a Chicago Bull. In this game against the Utah Jazz, Michael knocked down the game-clinching jump shot with 5.2 seconds remaining in the game. The Bulls went on to beat Utah 87-86 in the game for their 6th NBA title. This was a picturesque moment for Michael Jordan that would be seen on highlight reels for years to come. Now, we want to know what you think. Was this a fluke shot or just pure talent produced by a pure legend? So now we're here with varsity basketball phenom Sam Pressler. And Sam, we're asking you, Michael Jordan's shot against the Utah Jazz in 1998, was it luck or was it just pure determination by a great player?
I would say it's pure determination and practice, mainly because he probably took that shot 100 times a day off balance, so he probably knew it was going in when he shot it. And even if he missed it, he knew the next one was going to go in. So, yeah, that's what I believe.
There you have it. Just a great play by a great NBA player.
The first game of the 1996 ALCS is most notable for the Jeffrey Mayer incident. With the Yankees trailing 4-3 in the bottom of the 8th, rookie Derek Jeter hit a fly ball to deep right field off Orioles reliever Armando Benitez. Right fielder Tony Tarasco backed up to the wall, but 12-year-old Yankees fan Jeffrey Mayer reached over the fence and caught the ball before Tarasco could. Everyone claimed it to be fan interference, but the ball was ruled a home run, pushing it into extra innings, ultimately becoming a Yankee win with a Bernie Williams walk-off. Luck for the Yankees, or was this just fate? So I'm here with my fellow soccer captain, Evan Baum. So Baum, 1996 ALCS, the Jeffrey Mayer incident occurs. He reaches over. Some people think it wasn't going to be a home run. What do you think? Do you think this was luck, or do you think this was just destiny for the Yankees?
Well, when you think of the most illustrious sports franchise in the history of the universe, you think of guys like Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, and now 14 years later, looking back, you think guys like Derek Jeter. He's the captain of the Yankees, who just won their 27th World Championship, and this marked the start of one of the greatest runs in the history of sports. The Yankees won 4 World Championships, including 2000, which ended their run, and then came back at 2009, where Jeter was there for all of them. He had great moments, and this was the first key moment which defines him as an athlete. The flip in 2001 against the A's, the home run against the Diamondbacks off Byung Kim in the 2001 World Series, and other moments like Boone's home run against Tim Wakefield to clinch the pennant in 2003. This was destiny for the Yankees.
So, according to Evan, the Jeffrey Mayer play was just destiny.
How could anyone forget the 2005 AFC Championship game between the Steelers and the Colts? Jerome Bettis, running back for the Steelers, tried to punch it in for a touchdown on the 1-yard line, which would have put the Steelers up by 2 possessions and a sure win. But for the first time all season, Bettis fumbled after getting hit hard by linebacker Gary Bracken. Indianapolis' defensive back Nick Harper recovered the ball and appeared to be on his way to a sure touchdown, which would have given Indianapolis the lead and possibly the win. At this point, Ben Roethlisberger made what some have called the Immaculate Redemption when he made a shoestring tackle, spinning around and grabbing Harper's ankle on the 42-yard line. This allowed the Steelers to move on to their eventual Super Bowl win. Good hustle by Ben or a bad play by the Colts? So now we're here with Steve Rubin. And Steve, we're asking you, in the 2005 AFC Championship game, when the Steelers were playing the Colts, Ben Roethlisberger makes a game-saving tackle after Jerome Bettis fumbled the ball trying to punch it in for a touchdown on the 1-yard line. Do you think this was just a great tackle by Ben Roethlisberger, or was it just a lucky play for the Steelers?
I think, if anything, it was lucky for the Colts. Jerome Bettis, he's based his entire career on being able to punch it in on the goal line. And that one fumble was his first fumble of the year, his last fumble of his career. And Ben Roethlisberger just went out and grabbed the ankle. I don't think it was a lucky play. I think, if anything, the Colts got lucky to get a second chance.
There you have it. Just a great tackle by a great quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger.
There has been lots of talk recently arguing the situation of postseason college football. Some like it, others don't. Steve Rubin and Doug Schweibel voice their opinions on their new segment called Chalk Talk.
Hi, I'm Doug Schweibel, here along with Steven the Tank Rubin. We are here to show you the first ever episode of Chalk Talk. Me and Steve are going to be discussing the BCS first playoff scandal that's going on in college football right now.
Well, in my opinion, the best thing would be to keep the BCS. They've established it as the way it goes for 20, 30 years now, and it's always seemed to work. So I wonder about the playoff is how would it be done? How many teams would be in it? How long would it go, Doug?
Well, actually, I think that I like to be fair to all the teams. I like to give everybody a chance. I don't like to see Boise State, who has had the most wins in around 7 years. They've had the most collective wins. They had 10-win seasons, 11-win seasons, even 12-win seasons, even undefeated seasons. They get those, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. They get an Orange Bowl bid, or they get a Sugar Bowl win. I want to see them in the national championship competing against the Floridas, the Georgias, the Alabamas. I want to see them head-to-head and see what they can do against a major conference team.
What about the teams like Florida this year who fell short of the SEC championship, so that knocked them out of the national championship? I mean, if the conference winners get in and you throw a couple non-conference players, non-BCS conference teams in, where would Florida go?
Well, you can't. I don't think anybody in this entire world wouldn't want to see Tim Tebow come back in the playoffs to come back against that Alabama team and show them and get his revenge. You wouldn't want to see that Alabama defense against that great Florida offense again?
Everyone would, but I thought the national championship should have been that way, but by the bylaws of the BCS, it doesn't work that way. You know, that's what makes the regular season so amazing, is that the regular season is like a playoff. For Florida, one loss, you knew you were done.
The regular season is like a playoff, but I would love the excitement of the regular season is so much fun, but by the time you get to bowl season, you're almost done with it. Nobody cares about the Capital One Bowl. Nobody cares about the Poinsettia Bowl. Nobody cares about all those other bowls before the BCS bowls.
You know who cares? The companies care. The NCAA cares because those companies, AT&T Cotton Bowl, all those Sugar Bowls, the Rose Bowl, make so much money in sponsorship dollars that the school gets, that the NCAA gets, that it's hard to turn down.
You're saying that schools wouldn't be companies wouldn't have more fun and make more money if they had a playoff system like this. I'm actually going to show you what my idea would be if we had a playoff system. I would have each winner of all the major conferences in the BCS, such as the SEC, ACC, Pac-10, Big 12, Big East, and Big 10, have an automatic bid into the tournament. Then I would have a playing game, or what's now known in the NFL as a wild card, to choose who gets in the play-in game. The playing games can vary from each conference, but basically the way it would go down this year would be Alabama, Georgia Tech, Oregon, Oklahoma, Texas, I'm sorry. Cincinnati, and Ohio State. And then the non-conference teams would be TCU and Boise State. The wildcard teams would be Florida and Iowa. And I think anybody would pay any amount of money to see those games, especially as you keep going on. They keep getting more intense. They keep getting better, just like the March Madness. Everybody knows March is the best time of the year because of the March Madness tournament.
March Madness tournament is very fun, but they don't compete with the NBA. Not as much as well. They would have to compete with the NFL. That playoff system might run into the week of the Super Bowl, if not soon, and you can't compete with the Super Bowl, plain and simple.
Tank, I agree that you can't compete with the Super Bowl, but I don't see anything more exciting and anything that can even compete with a playoff system. You have all the teams with an equal amount of chance to win. If you can prove you're the best by just winning. Boise State didn't get the chance to prove they're the best by just winning because they won all their games. They killed Oregon. They manhandled TCU, but they still didn't get their chance to prove that they were the best in the country.
They didn't get their chance. I thought that was unfair. I think if you prove yourself enough like Boise State has, you should get a BCS National Championship bid. It's undeniable. But it's all about how much money for the NCAA. It really is, and that's sponsorship dollars to the NCAA that's competing with the NFL for media time, and it's just not going to work that way.
I really feel bad for even Cincinnati. Cincinnati had an incredible year, coming short to Florida. They got proven, but they should have had that chance to go into the BCS National Championship and prove themselves, even though they lost in the Orange Bowl.
Another thing that just came to mind was, would this have changed a playoff system? Would this have changed Cincinnati's coaches, Brian Kelly's idea of leaving Notre Dame? He left because he has no shot at Cincinnati of going to a national championship. Cincinnati would have played probably Texas, which would have been a tough game. But had they come away with a miracle and gotten to the championship and won a national championship,
Brian Kelly would have missed out.
I think maybe he wouldn't have never left.
That's true.
So,
you
know what I mean?
Yes. All right, so that's it for us here at Chalk Talk. We'll see you next time.
There's only one thing a bad NFL team needs to reach that ultimate goal of making it to the Super Bowl. Max Beck predicts exactly what that is as he decides which teams need which players in the upcoming NFL draft. Alongside Julian Mayer, Max Beck voices his opinion.
Hi, I'm Julian Mayer here with Max Beck, and we are at Chalk Talk. And we're going to be talking about the NFL draft, which a lot of teams have been really banged up or really been bad this season. So we'll see if they could be able to improve. So, Mr. Mel Kiper Jr., what do you think is going to happen with the draft this year?
Well, you see, the Rams have the number 1 pick this year, and they can either go one of two ways. They can go best talent in the draft, which is Ndamukong Suh, or they can go with a franchise quarterback that they desperately need in Sam Bradford or Jimmy Clausen. Ultimately, I think they're going to go Ndamukong Suh. I think he's too big of a talent to pass up on. He's the best defensive tackle that the NFL's seen in a long time. He's 6'4", 275 pounds. He got great size, great speed, and he can tackle like any player in the NFL. Next up is the Detroit Lions. The Lions were last in the NFL last year in passing defense, so they're going to have to do something to improve that. And I think Eric Berry, smart safety, one of the best players in college football last year, majored in psychology and getting quarterbacks' heads. I think he's going to be a high pick, most likely to the Detroit Lions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up next. Tampa Bay Buccaneers last in the NFL in rushing defense. They're going to have to do something to improve their defensive line. Defensive line, you go defensive tackle, Gerald McCoy. I think he can help. The Bucs rush defense, and next we're going to have to go with the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins' new coach, Mike Shanahan, is probably going to want to draft a franchise quarterback to start off fresh. You can either go Jimmy Clausen or Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford, pending injury, could be one of the best quarterbacks in the draft. We're going to have to see how that shoulder holds up in the combine. But I think ultimately he'll be a good pick for the Redskins if they take him. And I think they can have a pretty good season next year if they draft Sam Bradford. The Chiefs are up next. The Chiefs can go a lot of ways here. Ultimately, I think they're going to have to start off with offensive line. So I think they're going to go with Russell Okung out of Oklahoma State. He can help that O-line. He can help the running game that they desperately need. And eventually, if the Chiefs draft well, like the Patriots have been doing, like Scott Pioli from the Patriots has been doing, they can improve their team. Seahawks are up next. 31st in the NFL in passing defense last year. They're going to do something to improve that. The corners are getting old in Seattle. Joe Hayden out of Florida, he can help that passing defense.
Whoa. Wait 1 second. Joe Hayden. How about Jimmy Clausen? He's a great quarterback coming out of Notre Dame. Why wouldn't they take them? Matt Hasselbeck is really getting old. Do you really want to see them pass up Jimmy Clausen, who really they should get?
See, the Seahawks have another pick, in the 13th pick coming up later that we don't have shown. I think they can go with Clausen then if he's still available. And again, championships are won on defense, so I think Joe Hayden would be a good pick there at the 6th pick. And up next we have the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns can go a number of ways here. They have Brady Quinn at quarterback, and he's going to need to draft some weapons like Des Bryant out of Oklahoma State. If they're going to want Brady Quinn to improve, they're going to have to draft wide receivers and tight ends around him. They need some talent, and Des Bryant can definitely help the Browns. The Browns had 130 passing yards per game last year. Des Bryant can help that severely. The Raiders are on the clock next. The Raiders are probably going to go defensive tackle Brian Price out of UCLA. He reminds a lot of scouts of Warren Sapp. Al Davis is probably going to wind up going with defense. The smart pick would be Brian Price, but you never know with Al Davis. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock next. Buffalo Bills, I think, are going to go Anthony Davis to help that running game. The running game stalled a little bit for Buffalo last year, and Anthony Davis has great size out of Rutgers. He can really improve Buffalo's chances next year in the tough AFC East division. And the Jaguars, if they don't go with Tim Tebow, I think they're probably going to go pass rusher Derek Morgan. Browns only had 14 sacks last year. Derek Morgan had 12.5 at Georgia Tech by himself. The Jaguars are going to need to severely improve that pass rush if they're going to want to do anything in a tough division with the Colts, Texans, and Titans. You disagree with any of my picks?
Definitely. First of all, Seahawks and Joe Hayden, come on. I would think that maybe he could go to the Chiefs, where they desperately do need some cornerbacks in there. And Raiders, they're definitely not going to get Brian Price. Come on, they're not going to get a defensive tackle. We all know what they're going to get. They're going to get Jimmy Clausen over here because they need a quarterback.
Owner Al Davis wants to stick with Jamarcus Russell. He told head coach Tom Cable if he doesn't want to work with Jamarcus Russell, then he can get out of Oakland.
That's Al Davis for you.
You disagree with anything else?
No. I think maybe C.J. Spiller could come over here to the Jags. Just add on a 1-2 punch with Maurice Jones-Drew. But then again, I don't know.
What about Rolando McClain? You think he should have gone anywhere in this top 10?
No. I think maybe if anyone, it would be the Browns because, they really need to start improving that defense again. They're starting to rebuild. So we're going to have to see. I think your pick with the Des Bryant is pretty good because they do need some wide receivers. They are really scarce there.
And of this top 10, which team do you think would improve most of any pick that they took?
I think the Chiefs because they have been building up for the past few years. They're starting to get some better players. And I think that over the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to start becoming a good team. So we'll see.
All right, I believe that if any team wanted to improve, I think it would be the Seattle Seahawks. If they can improve that pass defense, they have another pick, 13th pick. I think they can improve the most. This has been Chalk Talk. I'm Max Beck. He's Julian Mayer. See you next time.
Well, that's all the time we have for on this month on Game Time. Thank you for helping to make this first show a success. We look forward to its progress with your help. Until next month, I'm your host, Kevin Solomon, saying so long and have a warm February. Hi, welcome to the March edition of Game Time. I'm your host, Kevin Solomon. We've been working very hard towards continuing the success of this show. This month, we take a look at signing day. 5 Wayne Hill students decided to sign with Division I schools. Let's take a look at what they had to say and where they are going.
Welcome to Signing Day 2010. Every year, Wayne Hills High School provides a number of top high school players to the growing college sports market. This year is no different. This year's Signing Day, we will show you Wayne Hill top recruits including Mike Quinn, Kevin Solomon, Stephanie Zygmunt, Tim Divers, and Chris Fonte. This is National Signing Day 2010.
After a disappointing finish to his high school career, Mike Quinn looks to turn things around and continue his playing days at the University of Elon. Quinn went through a rough recruiting process, lacking much interest from Division I schools, where he saw himself as a good fit. Instead, Quinn will become a Phoenix next year and leaves for camp right after school.
Yeah, well, it was a hectic process, this recruiting thing, and, I really just wanted to fit in the best school I can, and Elon really wanted me, and I felt like they really wanted me, so I just picked them. They run definitely a spread offense that passes the ball 9% of the time. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of changing between my high school offense and their offense, but, I think I'm going to adapt good, and best for myself. Oh yeah, every school I visited, when I met with the offensive coordinators, they had run through me like some plays and some defenses I really knew more than any other quarterbacks there, and a lot of props goes to my coach. It was awesome. Okay, they're in North Carolina. They're in the D1 AA. I think they're ranked 7th in the country at D1 AA, and they play in the Southern Conference.
Kevin Solomon decided to go to UConn after committing early in October. Solomon, a first baseman and outfielder, chose UConn over Marshall University and Lafayette. Following in his father's footsteps, Solomon finds that UConn has a great program and feels that the team has real potential.
I mean, UConn, growing up, it's always been a school that I always rooted for. It was always one of my favorites. I just got lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time where they were able to see me. And it all worked out for me, and I'm really excited to get started there and see what happens. Well, my father went there, so I visited a couple times, as a kid, a couple summers ago as well. And I always liked it. I always enjoyed it, the atmosphere there, and I just can't believe that it actually worked out that way, and now I'm going there. They play in the Big East Conference. It's a great conference, obviously. Football has been good. Basketball, obviously, Big East, one of the best in college basketball. So baseball, they made it to the Big East Finals the last 2 years. I think they're really on the way up. They have a great coaching staff, and I'm really excited about it.
Stephanie Seidman, the two-time field hockey state champion, will continue her playing days at the University of Vermont. Stephanie, a very athletic goalie, also plays softball for the 2009 county champions. Her coach, Jennifer Badami, says that Seidman has great potential and sees her doing great things up north. Vermont, a Division I school, is home to the Catamounts. Seidman is very excited to get started and leaves for school this summer.
I went to a bunch of schools over the spring of last year, and Vermont was my last visit, my last unofficial visit. I went up and just fell in love right away. So they're good. They're Division I, and they're in the American East Conference. So they play like New Hampshire and Maine, some really tough schools. So it'll be good. Well, I'm goalie, so hopefully next year I can kind of earn my spot and step up right away.
Tim Divers is off to Lehigh University to give the team a leg up with his kicking ability. A member of the Patriot League, Lehigh University is not only known for its competitive nature on the field, but its excellence in the classroom as well. Divers, the kicker for the Wayne Hills team since sophomore year, has come a long way since his soccer days and is very excited to get started. He will be controlling kickoffs, field goals, extra points, and hopes to also get a chance at punter. Under the guidance of special team coach Walter Johnson, Divers has learned what it takes to make it to the next level. Johnson says, Divers is one of the most natural players when it comes to kicking a football. I see him doing big things in the future. He leaves for school this summer. Chris Fonte joins Greg Schiano and the Rutgers football team next season. Fonte, varsity starter for the Patriots for 2 years, committed to the Scarlet Knights as a junior. Fonte was one of the most highly recruited players in North Jersey. He follows in former Wayne Hill football players' footsteps, including St. Louis Rams, Ryan Neal, high school phenom Ray Van Penen, and Patriot standout Chaz Lynn. Fonte plans to join the Rutgers offensive line and hopes to play as soon as possible. Rutgers is part of the Big East and is looking to continue to move their program forward. Fonte hopes he can make a difference right away. Coach Olson looks forward to watching Fonte on television and says he has come a long way since the awkward freshman days. He leaves for training camp the day after graduation. We would like to take this opportunity here at Gametime to wish all of our Wayne Hills athletes good luck as they continue their athletic career at the next level. Unfortunately, not everyone can have a successful college career. We take a look at the accomplishments and downfalls of college athletes in this next segment called Beasts or Busts.
Hi, welcome back to Game Time. On February 3rd, 2010, it was National Signing Day, where the top football prospects all across the country signed their letters of intent to their school of choice. Now, me and the Game Time crew began to wonder, what happened to the other top prospects from other years? So in this thing, we'll be discussing the beasts and the busts of National Signing Day from 2003, 2004, and 2005.
Julian, I was watching the National Signing Day today. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I was really curious watching it about, there were some guys that were good and some guys that I don't think are going to be that good in the NFL. So that got me thinking about other high school players that possibly could be good and aren't good in the NFL.
Yeah, like I'm looking over here and I see the top prospect in 2003 was John David Booty, who's drafted in the 7th round from Alabama, is now the fourth-string quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
He was good in college. Why isn't he good in the NFL?
You know what? Some people, their game just doesn't translate. And for him, I definitely could see that because he really wasn't, in my opinion, that good of a college QB. Even though he did lead his team to a one-loss season last year, it still wasn't that good.
Would you put him as a beast or a bust? I'd probably go down as a bust for now, but I think he could be good eventually if he gets his chance.
Yeah, it's actually too close to call right now. But for now, I'll say he is a beast, or a bust.
John David Booty was the #1 prospect coming out of high school in 2003?
Yeah.
Who was number 2?
Actually, Demetrius Summers. He's not in the CFL.
Demetrius Summers?
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's a CFL player, and he's basically completely gone from the public view.
So he was the #2 high school player coming into college football, and now he's not even in the NFL.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I guess his game really didn't translate into college football. No one ever took notice of him, so I guess he just went to the CFL.
Who was number 3 that year?
Number 3 was Whitney Lewis.
Another guy I never heard of.
Yeah, he went to USC, and now he's just gone. We don't even know where he is.
There's got to be some good players on that list. Who was number 4?
Greg Olson.
There
from
you go.
Right here in Wayne Hills. He actually went to the Bears. He's now the starting tight end, and a lot of people are thinking that he's going to be the next big thing at tight end.
And what about number 5?
Number 5 is Jordan Lipsy.
Jordy Lipsy?
Yeah.
I've never heard of him.
He's not even playing football.
So I don't understand how that happens.
Well, like I said earlier, I guess he really just didn't develop enough in college, or he really didn't have the skill to translate his game into the college game.
What about a different year? What about 2003 or 2004?
2004, the first prospect was actually Rep Omar from Oklahoma. He was drafted in the 5th round, and now he's playing for the New York Giants, but he's the third-string quarterback between Eli Manning and Dave Carr.
That's got to suck for him.
Yeah.
Who's the number 2 prospect that year?
It's someone you never heard of. His name is Adrian Peterson.
I think you'd have to go with a beast for him.
Yeah. And then Early Doucette's next. He's now
he's on
playing.
the Cardinals, right?
Yeah. He's actually having an alright year, and I think he actually might have a future with the Cardinals.
And then 4th, I think, was Zach Miller, right?
Yeah. This year he had a breakout year, and he's really looking good, and I think he could be a big boom.
The tight end for the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Who's number 5?
Jeff Byers.
I've never heard of him.
Actually, it's an interesting story. He went from like an O-liner to a safety.
They moved an offensive lineman to safety?
Yeah.
Offensive line to safety. I've never seen that before.
Neither have I.
That's pretty weird. What about a different year? What about 2005?
2005, the first overall was Mark Sanchez. He now plays for the Jets.
I don't like him.
Then Antone Smith for the Atlantic Falcons.
Never heard of him. Go with a bust.
He might go pretty good because he's in the NFL, and this is actually his first year. So he came out of college early to go to the NFL, so he must have some talent.
2005, number 3 overall was Patrick Turner. Yeah, Patrick Turner. He's not good. I don't like him at all.
Yeah, I've actually heard of him very sparsely, so really I'm not sure where he's going to go. But then again, he's still in college, so he might break out.
And then number 4 was Tony Moiki, who's currently at Iowa. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I think he could be good this year. He's going to be in the draft this year, right?
Yeah, I think he is. And he has pretty good talent. And I think he could possibly make it in the NFL.
I'd have to go with he could be a sleeper this year. He could be a beast, but he could be like a bunch of the other guys on that list and could bust. As we all know, Wayne Hills is a powerhouse when it comes to athletics. We continue to send athletes to the professional level, including St. Louis Rams' Ryan Neal. Ryan recently had his jersey retired in the Gifford Gymnasium. Let's take a look at the special moment for Ryan and the ceremony that we held here.
Born on December 12, 1982, Ryan Neal grew up like any other Wayne kid, attending Wayne Hills High School and playing for Chris Olsen's Patriot football team. But Ryan wasn't just any other player. He quickly earned his spot in the starting lineup and stood out as a premier pass rusher. In his junior year, Ryan recorded 102 tackles, 27 for loss, and had 12 sacks. He was named Passaic County Defensive Player of the Year and was AP First Team All-New Jersey. His statistics improved in his senior year, where he had 15 sacks and was invited to play in the MSG Tri-State All-Star Game, as well as the Super 100 New Jersey All-Star Game. Attending Rutgers on a full scholarship, Ryan brought his defensive dominance with him. He started 35 of his 41 collegiate games and recorded 176 tackles, 19 sacks, and 41 tackles for loss. His 19 sacks ranks 5th all-time in Rutgers history. As well as being named Rutgers' team MVP, an SI.com Honorable Mention All-American, as well as an Academic All-American, the 6'3" defensive end was a finalist for the Ted Hendricks Award, given to the best defensive end in the country. Going undrafted, Neal made it to the NFL as a long snapper. After 3 successful seasons for the Buffalo Bills, Ryan signed with the St. Louis Rams, where he now handles the long snapping duties. I'm here with Rams defensive end Ryan Neal, Wayne Hills graduate on the St. Louis Rams. So, Ryan, you had your number retired here today at the basketball game. I mean, what does that mean to you?
It's real rewarding just to be back here at Wayne Hills. I haven't been here in a long time. Just good to see, a lot of Coach Olson and Coach Riker, a lot of the coaches that coached when I was here, and it really means a lot. It's just, it's a significant thing to have your jersey retired by your high school, and I'm glad to have it done.
And no question about it. I mean, you obviously have a lot of memories here. You guys were great when you played here, and talk about your favorite memories here and what the program meant to you.
Yeah, I think my favorite memory is just walking down to the football field, on Friday night, when the only thing lit up was the stadium. I just remember, being a team and bringing it up in the locker room and coming down together. Nothing compares, college football is great, but, once you get to the NFL, it's a little more of a business, so nothing compares to high school football.
Right. Speaking of this transition from level to level, I mean, how hard was it to play the collegiate level, and of course the professional level is a whole other story. I mean, how did you prepare for that and get better as your career went along?
I think just really hard work, something I learned as a kid, and coming through Wayne Hills here is, as a football player, you need to be willing to work hard, and I've never had a problem working hard. So just, really working hard, and just, when you get to another level, just preparing yourself to match that competition and get better than that competition. You can't do it without hard work.
He was quick off the ball. Not a lot of guys could defend him, and just being a very athletic kid. He wasn't an overly big kid, but he was extremely strong. He might be, 6'1", 6'2" kid, but he's, muscled up and could really out-physical people.
Ryan was one of those players that, played hard every snap, the entire length of the play until the whistle. He played extremely hard. He had great skills, physical skills. But I think one of his greatest attributes was he played the game so hard.
Okay, first and foremost, I got to play with Ryan. Was a sophomore when I was a senior. Got to play football and baseball with him, and the most important aspect of Ryan is that he's just a good person. Got a great work ethic. He's a strong physical guy. He played defensive end and offensive line at Hills, and really translated that into college and then into the NFL. So great work ethic, good teammate. Great sportsman, and really strong physical football player.
Making it to the NFL, you never know for sure. You know what I'm saying? But he went down there, Rutgers worked extremely hard, got his chance, and then once he got his chance, he made the best of it. And, what he's done is a very rare thing. About 2% of the kids that play college football, make that type of level. Can't say much about Ryan Neal as far as the type of person he is, type of father he is, type of player he's been. I'm sure if you go to any teacher in high school that had Ryan in class, they would tell you that he was certainly a joy to have every minute of the day.
When it comes to Wayne Hills athletics, our fencing team gets the least amount of credit. Recently, they deserve the most. Let's take a look at this next segment where we focus on fencing.
Even though while fencing you're alone with just you and your thoughts, it's a team sport because you practice with your team, you run with your team. They cheer you on too while you're on the strip, so it's really a team sport. You feed off their energy, so it's a team sport.
Training is pretty hard in fencing. We train 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, and we train in the cardio room. We work on endurance and strength and muscle building, and a lot of blade work. and footwork.
The goals for this year's fencing team were to win as many meets as we possibly could. I felt that this was somewhat met, but then again not. Another goal for this year's season was to make it to states. Though we did not make it to states as a team, or all squads also didn't make it, the Sabre squad did.
So the rivals this year, we have Wayne Valley, Governor Livingston, and all other schools that fence all year round. And we only fence for 3 months. So these girls, they work hard 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, including Saturdays.
For training, we do footwork and cardio for 20 minutes every day, and we do all sorts of strip work as well as blade work, including various drills.
Like one big happy family here. We really do work hard. It gets intense sometimes, but we get through it each and every day.
We're doing really well this year. The coaches have been really supportive of us at the meets, like giving us positive encouragement and like really bringing our morale up. Without the coaches, the fencing team wouldn't be the fencing team.
The Sabres got to states this year. That is one of my goals. I hope that they get first place.
Many of the fencers fence individually, like Selena Mirza, who is a nationally known fencer.
Also, it's really nice that we have like a whole like new variety of like fencers this year. Like especially the freshmen, they're all different, and it's really good to see them.
As a freshman, I was really nervous to join the fencing team, but after a while, I got to look at these people as a family, and I grew really close to them. And I made a bunch of new friends here. I love it here. I love fencing.
So I feel like we've had a good season so far. We're a bit of a smaller team, but it's allowed us to bond and become really close-knit. We always support each other because we're such a small team. We're very supportive, and we've been able to pull through and show everyone what we're capable of.
The girls' fencing team did well this year, considering that a lot of new fencers became varsity starters. The whole team came in 4th at the counties this year, and the Sabres did an amazing job and won 4th in the state competition. Overall, the team record this season was 8 wins and 11 losses.
I am really excited for next year.
The girls' basketball team had a strong season under the guidance of head coach Vinny Porta. Let's take a closer look and see how well they did.
The Wayne Hills girls basketball team is having a great season. They have a remarkable winning record and have high hopes for the rest of the season. Let's find out what this team is all about.
We really don't have a slogan. Our team goals have been just to play really good defense. So I would say our slogan is defense. Right now, our defense is our strong point. We really work hard on it at every practice, and we're really trying to make sure that we can stop teams.
A lot of times fouls are almost mistakes because you're not balanced and then the girl runs into you or you accidentally bump her and then just a screw up.
Well, we're going to practice 3 times over this weekend. We're going to practice today on Friday, Saturday, and Monday to get ready for our next game on Tuesday. Typical practice is we start out with a warm-up, then we go into running some drills, and then we'll go over our offenses and defenses that we want to work on for the next game. Our goals is to get the 3rd seed in the county, to win 2 games in the county, and to win 2 games in the state.
All right, usually at practices we start off by taking 2 laps around the gym, and then we do what we call the Dammies warm-ups, and it's just about a lot of running back and forth up and down the court and doing what we call plyometrics, and just gets us ready for practice. And then from there we usually do jump shots, layups, and just run up and down the court. And then Porter goes over the game plan for the team we're going to play the next day. Usually he goes over who's the best players and how we're going to defend them. And then from there we'll usually take foul shots, and that's about it.
We've had a couple of girls that have stepped up. Sam Litsky, Christy Cherub, Erica Wills, and Nicolette Dries have really done a nice job.
Christy Cherub is only a sophomore, is a leading high scorer. She is a great example of how much talent this team possesses.
I think we go really far this year. We go to states. I think we're just going to take it, and we're going to surprise everyone and come out and play every game 100%, and I think that's what we got to do.
The leaders of the team are Bridget Greenwald and Lauren Sullivan, who are our captains. We knew they were going to play well this year, and they've been doing a great job being leaders.
Captain Bridget Greenwald is one of the Patriots' best defenders. She's very hardworking and passionate about what she does. Let's find out what goes on inside her head as she's defending the other team.
Well, basically when I'm playing defense, I'm watching my own girl, I'm watching the ball, I'm trying to see what everyone else is doing. We try to talk a lot on defense because that's a main part of defense, communicating and working together as a team.
Point guard Lauren Sullivan is also hardworking and is the other captain of the girls' basketball team. She works really hard with her ball handling skills and leads the team on and off the court.
As a captain, I have to pump everybody up and make sure that everybody stays positive in order to win. As a point guard, I have to control the game and make sure that everybody doesn't go crazy and make sure that we run in the right place.
Coach Porta, as of last year, has really brought the girls' basketball team together. He's a dedicated coach and works really hard to come up with strategies to help out the girls. His practices are well organized and run very effectively.
I think he's a pretty good coach. He makes practice exciting. Every day he has something new for us to do. He scouts our teams, informs us on how we're supposed to play and our matchups for each game.
Okay, so our team is really close. We all really love each other, and we all like talking on camera. And we're gonna have a sleepover soon, and it's gonna be really fun. And Coach,
it's gonna be like really fun. Like
it is. And Coach Porta loves us all because we're his favorite team ever. And
I just want to say I love my basketball team.
We all love each other, and we're better than the boys' team.
Me too. Better than the boys' team.
We're a lot better than boys' team.
We don't airball the ball
a lot, often.
But they do.
And is that good? That's
all
right,
really
cool.
Good.
All right.
Bye.
Can you name that Wayne Hill sport invented by the Greeks? That's right. Our bowling team had a strong season as they capped it off with a league championship. Let's take a look at their success and see how well they did.
The Wayne Hills bowling team competes against teams like DePaul, Wayne Valley, Lakeland, and PCT throughout the winter. They've been led by Coach Basilicato for the last 2 years and have seen lots of success with him.
Okay, hi, my name is Coach Rich Basilicato. I'm coach of the boys bowling team. This is my third year coaching. We're currently in the New Jersey Tri-County League. We actually won our league this year. This is the first time that this league is in existence, so we won the league the first time I was here. Actually won the NBIL a couple of years ago with a different team. This year was actually more gratifying. These guys came in with a little lower averages as a team, but they're able to pull together and actually surprised me. A couple of my guys this year surprised me with pretty high averages, and we were able to pull out our league.
This year's captain was Katine, who competed with the team for the last 3 years and helped them win a state championship in early 2008. He bowled a 254 and a 683 three-game series against Passaic Valley on December 16th. This season, he brought encouragement and motivation to the team, especially on county and state day, when he gave amazing pre-game speeches. For his last year, he finished with a 190 average, got second team all-league, received honorable mention at counties, and passed his legacy down to his brother. Sophomore Ryan Katine finished this season with a 204 average, which is 14 points higher than the second highest average on the team. One game, he just missed a perfect 300 by getting straight strikes up until the 11th shot and ended with a 285 and a 717 series against Clifton on December 7th, 2009.
Ryan Katine was actually over 200 this year, which is an excellent average, which will probably put him somewhere as an all-county player. His brother Kyle Katine is our captain. He's averaging in the 190s, as well as Matt Bombard, who's a junior. He's also averaging in the 190s.
This year's season wouldn't be the same without the returning Matt Bombard. His game peaked when he bowled a nail-biting 298 and a 717 series against PCT on December 17th. Anyone can distinguish him as having the biggest hook on the team, spinning the ball harder and throwing wider than anyone else. By the end of this season, he had a 190 average, was awarded second team all-league, and was awarded honorable mention at counties. His positive attitude and promising game puts him in the running for being varsity captain next year. The second junior on the team is Ryan Gross. He peaked when he bowled a 246 against Passaic Valley on January 27th. His score greatly contributed to the team's victory that day. According to teammate Ryan Katine, Ryan Gross is very good at making spares. He probably makes them about 75% of the time. This season was his first on the varsity squad, and he finished with a respectable 178 average.
This is Dr. Beck, principal of Wayne Hills High School, and I would like to congratulate both of our teams, both boys and girls, for tremendous seasons and wish them the best of luck in the upcoming state tournaments.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today on this second edition of Game Time. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to continuing the success of this show. For your host, I'm Kevin Solomon, saying have a great March and enjoy the start of baseball season. Hi, welcome to the April edition of Game Time. I'm your host, Kevin Solomon. As the spring approaches and the weather gets warmer, baseball season is upon us. John Vitas and Anthony Scadillo break down the spring baseball season. First, the American League. Let's take a look.
All right, Anthony, we're here in the dugout. It's baseball season. It's sunny. It's warm. We got our baseball uniforms on. We're all ready to go for the season. So we're going to start things off with your New York Yankees, defending World Series champs. So right off the bat, make your case. Why is this team even better than they were last year?
Well, John, we improved our pitching, obtaining Javier Vasquez from the Atlanta Braves, and he was just a stud last year, a strikeout machine. He comes over 3/4, and he's not really an over-top guy, but his two-seam fastball just it drops like a hammer. So it's going to be nice to see him back in a Yankee uniform for the second time. We improved our outfield a little bit, getting Curtis Granderson. He has a lot of range, and he's going to bring a nice bat to that short porch in right field.
I disagree automatically, just being a Mets fan. But first of all, Curtis Granderson is not that good. He's going to bat for a low average. Yeah, granted, he'll get some home runs in that stadium. But the pitching, I don't think is that great. You don't know what you're going to get from Jabba. The bullpen, you guys are bragging about the bullpen. I really don't see it being that great.
Well, there's no guarantee that Jabba's a starter right now. I honestly think it's going to be Phil Hughes taking that 5th spot. And we have seen last year when he comes in middle relief, which is an extended period of time, not one inning, that he can be successful. Now, when Jabba was in that middle relief role, he was much better than when he was a starter. So that's what I think is going to be happening. So there's really no worries about Jabba Chamberlain. And Curtis Granderson still has a lot of range than Johnny Damon did.
I'll agree defensively he's definitely an upgrade, but with the rotation, going back to what you were saying, I agree that Phil Hughes should be the starter, and he probably will be, and I agree he's going to be good, but that leaves a big hole for that setup man in the bullpen. You guys have a lot of average arms back there, but really the biggest downgrade that the Yankees made this year was in the outfield. Lost Johnny Damon as well as Melky Cabrera. Those are both key components to the offense last year. Now you're going to have to start Brett Gardner and who knows who else. So I think that's a big hole you're going to have to fill, but to help your point out a little bit, Nick Johnson, I think, was a nice pickup to help with the hitting a little bit. But, of course, he has his own injury problems in a sense. So, Anthony, looking at the rest of the division, Red Sox, Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays, how do you think they're going to shape up, and who's going to give the Yankees their biggest run?
Well, I mean, we saw last year that the AL East kind of dropped off a little bit. There was more competition in the Central and the West. The Rays aren't as good as they once were. They lost some pitching, and, just the consistency wasn't there, although B.J. Upton did have a huge year, along with Carl Crawford. But I really think the Red Sox improved almost more than the Yankees, in my opinion. As a Yankee fan, I admit that. John Lackey is a huge upgrade in the starting position role, and now they're with John Lester and Josh Beckett, and, they have Wakefield thrown in there. They have a great rotation.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. The Red Sox, I think, improved so much in the offseason with John Lackey. Their rotation is just stellar, top to bottom. Everyone in that rotation can throw a no-hitter, or, obviously that would take a lot, but can throw a great game on any given night. And the Rays, I have to agree also with losing Scott Kazmir, and he wasn't effective last year. That's a big loss for them. Their batting order isn't as good as the Yankees and Red Sox, so I agree they're going to have to fall off to probably 3rd place, and they won't be contenders. But I think the Blue Jays also took a big step back, losing Roy Halladay. So I think they're going to probably fall to the basement, in my opinion. I think the Orioles are only going to get better. So I'd have to agree. But now, looking at the rest of the American League, the Central and the West, if you had to take your division champs from the Central and the West, who would it be?
In the Central, I'm probably going to go with the Tigers. I mean, with Rick Porcello and, the rest of that pitching staff, they got a good group of guys over there, and their offense can, hit. Although they did lose Granderson, they got Johnny Damon. So, he's a good hitter, and Miguel Cabrera is great. In the West, I think the Angels' offense is too good to pass up. I mean, you do have Texas, who has a decent pitching staff, and, Oakland's not really there. But I'd watch out for the Mariners. They got a lot better. Their pitching staff is incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to continue with that Mariners note because the Mariners got so much better in the offseason, picking up Cliff Lee and Sean Figgins. They're going to be so much better this year. I'm picking them to win the West. I really think they're going to pull it off this year. And I say the Angels dropped to third. I mean, the Rangers and the Mariners took a huge step up. The Rangers picked up Rich Harden, which I thought was one of the best moves this offseason because if he stays healthy, I mean, their pitching staff is average to above average now. And, of course, they always have great hitting. And in the Central, I'm going to agree with the Tigers. I think they're probably have the best 1, 2, 3 pitching punch. Also, the White Sox have a good rotation as well. But I think adding Max Scherzer for the Tigers is going to be a big lift. Of course, they lose Edwin Jackson, but their rotation is still just as good. But now, looking to individual players' performances for this season, who would you have for your Cy Young Award winner as well as your MVP?
My MVP is going to be Kendry Morales. He had a huge year last year for the Angels, playing first and left field. You know, that was really his breakout year, and he's going to bat over 300 with over 20 home runs and over 100 RBIs. And my Cy Young is definitely going to be King Felix. Felix Hernandez for the Mariners, just a great guy. He's still young. He's going to have a great season, over 20 wins in my opinion.
I'm going to go with Cliff Lee from the Mariners. I'm going to stick with the Mariners theme. I mean, he was great with the Phillies last year. I know the American League is a little bit tougher on pitchers, but I think Cliff Lee's going to be able to handle that. He's going to be in a city where there's not a lot of pressure in Seattle, unlike Philadelphia, and I think he's just emerged as one of the best pitchers in baseball. And as for my MVP, it's a little bit of a tougher call. You know what? I'm going to go with Mark Teixeira. I think he's going to continue his dominance hitting-wise. He's going to have another great year defensively, of course, but I think he's really going to help carry the Yankees forward into another playoff push.
We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with the National League after this.
Extremely hungry. I mean, everyone should be. It's our main goal, our main focus right now. You know, this is our year. From our freshman year, people have doubted us, saying we weren't going to be that good. So I think that's the main motivation, that this is our last chance to get it done. Yeah, I think with the guys we have coming back and some of the younger players that are going to have to step up, I think we have every chance to win it all. Yes, definitely, without a question. That's our goal, that's our focus, and we believe that we're going to play like that. I think it's going to take, like it did last year, you know, guys, not the big-time guys, but the guys that people don't really know about yet to step up and make plays. I mean, it's time to be a varsity player for some younger kids. So I think it's going to take the seniors leading this team and the younger guys stepping up. I think mainly because of our work ethic, top to bottom, sophomore through senior. I mean, we've been working extremely hard. We know what the goal is. We know that feeling, what it's like to lose, so we're not going back to that. Focus. Last year, I think that was one of our problems, is practice. We weren't focused, games weren't focused. We thought everything would be easy, but so I think we need to focus and stay on task this year and take it one game at a time. Everyone, I think, from starters of last year down to new starters this year, down to our sophomore quarterback, everybody. But we have full confidence in everyone to step up and make plays.
All right, Anthony, we've moved things outside. Now we're transitioning to the National League. So now we're going to talk about my team, the New York Mets, who had a very disappointing season last year, losing 90 games, but it was all the injuries. You have to agree.
Well, you know, I'd like to agree, and I'm going to for your case, but that was a heck of a way to christen a new baseball stadium. I mean, that kind of season is very, very disappointing. The pitching staff is extremely dismal, and I think that's the biggest problem that you have. You know, the staff is not what it used to be. You used to have some aces, now you got one, and Johan Santana cannot carry this team as far as they want to go.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with the injuries. That's all it was, in my opinion. I mean, 90 losses doesn't happen when you have the type of payroll they do. I mean, their pitching, like you said, was horrible, but when you have Corey Sullivan batting cleanup in August, that's never good. I mean, they lost 100% of their core players to injury at one point last year. So this year, they're obviously going to get better. But you talked about the pitching. Now, everyone says that the rotation is the weak point of the Mets, and it probably is because, of course, you don't know how Pelfrey, John Maine, and Oliver Perez are going to do this year. Now, I have a lot of confidence in John Maine. I think he's going to be great, and as long as he stays healthy, and he's been healthy to this point. Oliver Perez looks better. Pelfrey's the biggest worry, if you ask me, because he pitched the whole season last year and just did bad. So I don't know if he's going to be too much better. But the thing that gives me a little more confidence as a Met fan is looking at the guys they have after that. You've never heard of most of them, but 5 through 9 out of their starters could be very solid major league pitchers. You got John Neese, Pat Mish, Fernando Nieve, Nelson Figueroa, and they picked up this guy Hisanori Takahashi from Japan, and he's thrown 9 scoreless innings so far to start spring training. And of course, you got the young prospect in Henry Mejia, who will probably come around next year. So I think that their rotation's not too bad, but their lineup took a big hit losing Beltran and Reyes.
Yeah, it did take a big hit, but this year they bring in a few guys that'll really help them on the offensive side, and I honestly think that the pitching staff, you're right, is improving, and I think Oliver Perez could be one of the most electric starters in the major leagues when he's on. But that's the problem. He's not on often. It takes him a long time to, really get into a rhythm.
Well, he's thrown strikes so far early on in spring training, so I look for him to do a lot better. I mean, he can't do much worse. He had an ERA close to 7 last year in about 14 starts. So Oliver Perez can't get much worse. But as far as the hitting goes, they got Jason Bay, which is going to be a big help with power-wise because they need all the power they can get at this point. David Wright beefed up a lot in the offseason, lifted a lot of weight, put on a lot of muscle. So he's going to hit, in my opinion, around 30 home runs. But
it's a big stadium, John. That's my only question. Citi Field's a large stadium. Jason Bay's a strong guy, but is he strong enough to hit it out of there? He's not Ryan Howard or Prince Fielder here taking hacks every time.
Well, his home run totals are going to decline. There's no question about that. Anyone that comes in that ballpark, their numbers are going to go down. But I think they're going to have the strength to overcome that and hit into the 20s. I don't know about 30s, but they're still going to hit some home runs. But obviously, Beltran and Reyes is a huge loss for me because they're the catalyst of that offense. And without them, their lineup just looks so much more weak. Of course, replacing them with Alex Cora and Angel Pagan, I mean, that's a big drop-off. But now looking forward to the whole division, of course, the Phillies have been there as the staple in that number 1 slot the last few years. Are they going to continue that, and can the Braves or Marlins or even the Nationals maybe challenge the Mets and Phillies?
Well, we saw the Marlins last year really improve. I mean, their pitching staff with Josh Johnson, Ricky Nolasco, and a few other guys. Leo Nunez was in there in the middle relief section. They did a great job. I mean, I can see Tommy Hanson doing a great job, and Jair Jurgens. Although they did lose Javier Vasquez to the Yankees, they're going to have a great year. It's really, in my opinion, a bunch of, I don't want to say average, but a little above average teams in the same, division. I mean, the Phillies don't have the dominance that they had last year.
I think this is the second best division in all of baseball. I really do. From the Nationals have improved so much, picking up Jason Marquis and a few other guys this year, Adam Kennedy,
Brian Bruni.
Exactly, but the middle has stepped up a lot. Obviously, the Mets are going to get a lot better, but the Braves, to me, have really stepped up to go from an average team to a playoff contending team. Their rotation is phenomenal. Kawakami, Tim Hudson, guys you didn't mention, as well as Jurgens and Derek Lowe and whoever else they have. That's a great rotation, and I mean, even if one guy gets hurt, they got a 6th guy that can be just as good. They're similar to the Red Sox in the American League. I think the Braves are going to be great this year. Of course, they have Billy Wagner now as their closer, which is a big lift, and the Marlins are always solid every year, even if they get rid of everyone.
Yeah,
they're always coming up with
which is what they do.
They're always coming up with some prospects, so the Marlins are always going to be tough to beat. But now looking at the National League as a whole, Central and West, who are your champs in the Central and West?
Well, I'd like to see the Cubs do good this year. I mean, they have an opportunity to win that Central because there's not a lot of strength there. The Brewers got worse. I mean, Ben Sheets, even though he didn't play last year, he's on a new team. He's on the Athletics, even though he hasn't done good in spring training. But I think the Cubs will win that, and I think the San Francisco Giants are going to win the West. I mean, I think that's the strongest division in baseball with the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Dodgers, but I think the Giants are coming out of that strong.
I agree with the National League West being the toughest division in baseball. I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks to pull it out this year. They pick up Edwin Jackson. Their young hitters are getting better and better with Justin Upton and Mark Reynolds. I think the Diamondbacks are going to win that division. I think the Dodgers are finally going to drop off a little bit. I think their pitching won't be where it was in years past. And I have the Giants to finish second, like you said. Of course, their rotation's always great. And in the Central, I'm going to go with the Cardinals to repeat. I mean, I think that's the weakest division in baseball, top to bottom. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals to repeat now, MVP and Cy Young in the National League.
I think Henley Ramirez is going to carry the Marlins into the playoffs, and he's going to be my MVP. You saw it last year. He's just an all-around guy. He can hit home runs. He can steal bases. He literally does everything. My Cy Young, on the other hand, I'm going to look at Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals. He had a huge year last year with Chris Carpenter. I'm gonna look for that to continue.
I'm going to go with the obvious pick in Albert Pujols with the Cardinals for my MVP, but I'm going to make up for it by going with an unlikely guy for the Cy Young. I'm going to go with Tommy Hanson from the Atlanta Braves. Burst on the scene last year as a top prospect, had a great season, Rookie of the Year, and he's only going to get better and better. And like I said, I think the Braves are going to take a huge step forward this year, so I'm going to go with Tommy Hanson as my guy.
We are all looking forward to a great upcoming spring season for the Wayne Hills Patriots. Let's take a closer look at what our teams have to offer this spring.
Hello and welcome back to Game Time. I'm Doug Schweibel here with Coach John Goldstein. Coach, we're going to discuss the 5 major spring sports in 5 minutes. We're We're going to start out with Coach Ionell's baseball team. What are your expectations for them?
Well, coming off a county championship last year, I know that Coach Ionello and his team want to repeat their success of last year, maybe even take it a step further by winning a league championship, maybe even a state title.
Any distinct players that are playing for that baseball team that you really want to look out for?
Yeah, the team is actually has a lot of depth. We returned 2 pitchers from who contributed greatly last year, and Brian Dowling and Steve Levenbrook. Kevin Solomon was an all-county first baseman last year. He's got a partial scholarship to the University of Connecticut. He's probably our team leader. Jordan Kessel behind the plate is another first-team all-county returnee. So, and there's a lot of depth. We're getting a lot out of our young guys, too.
All right, so now let's take a dive into Coach Hertzberg's softball team trying to repeat their county champs. How do you think they'll do this year?
Well, this year, Coach Hertzberg's team is the huntee. Last year, they were the hunter. Nobody really knew about them. They kind of snuck up on everybody. And it's definitely different playing as, the team with the target on your back. Everybody will be gunning for them this year. So they're going to have to, perform a little bit better than last year if they want to repeat their, county success. She's got a lot of kids returning too. Obviously she lost Holly Bastanik from last year's team, who's playing at the Coast Guard now. But she returns, her ace on the mound, Erica Wills, had a tremendous year last year, was a first-team all-county kid. So she's back. Her battery mate behind the plate, Jamie Pospischel, is back. She was another all-county kid. So the pieces are there. It's just a matter of playing up to their capabilities. And, I know Steph Zigman is another leader for them at first base. Their infield, the right side of their infield is basically intact from last year between Stephanie and Emily Spizzanti. The left side, third base and shortstop is going to be a couple newcomers that are going to need to perform if they want to achieve, the success they had last year.
We all hope they do. Moving on, we're going to go into girls lacrosse. Coach Tripp looks like they're doing a great job. I heard they have a great star in Isabel Kao. What are your thoughts?
They always do well. It'll be a little different for them this year, as it is for pretty much all the teams at Wayne Hills this year. They changed up the alignment, so we're no longer in the NBIL. We're used to playing the NBIL teams, no longer this year. It's a whole new change for all sports here at Wayne Hills. Isabel Kao dominated the NBIL last year, had a great lacrosse season. They're going to need her to perform, well again this year if they want to have the same type of success they had last year. They made the state playoffs last year. They were very good. Now, they lost 6 seniors off that team last year who were major contributors. So they're going to need their young kids to step up. They should be okay, though. Between Isabel, Bridget Greenwald is a solid midfielder, so is Shannon Burns. So they have the pieces also. A couple of young kids like Alex Albano and Corey Mania, they're going to need them to contribute if they're going to have, major success like last year.
What are your thoughts on the boys lacrosse team?
The boys, I talked to Coach Jacobson, and, he says they're going to be better than most people think. They came off kind of like a 500 year last year, nothing great. And this year, unfortunately, they got crippled by injuries even before the season started. They lost 2 key components in Chris Massey and Russ Pekarsky, to football injuries. It was a broken leg and a knee injury, and they're not 100% healed, so I don't think they can, contribute this year, and that hurts. But they do have pieces, in place, like James DeDelectis is back, and they're counting on him, for some major production. Spencer Nellis. But again, he said, they performed well in one of their scrimmages, which has him anticipating, to be better than people think. People think, they're not counting on them to do too much, but he's excited. He thinks they can be pretty good.
What about the up-and-coming volleyball team?
Boys volleyball is always solid. Last year they were 12-10, and that was kind of a down year for them. Normally they're well above 500, not that 12-10 team. They're big. They're bigger than they've been in the past. When I say big, I'm talking tall. Guys like Mike DeDuke. They're tall. Max Gold is going to be like the primary setter for them. He thinks that they should be better than 12-10. Again, it's a new league for Coach Eustace. I think Mike Spadaro they're counting on him for some major, not Mike Spadaro, Mike Carabao. Mike Carabao, he's, a big hitter. Walking through the gym, I see him, hitting some spikes, and they look pretty good, let me tell you.
Looks like a bright year for spring sports.
Yeah, it's a bright year for spring sports. This year, all around sports. Right now, as we sit here today, we have 5 county championships, which is 2 more than any other school in the county has this year. The next closest to us is 3. So right now, we're dominating the county.
Hopefully we'll keep it up. All right, that's all for me and Coach Goldstein. Stay tuned for more Game Time.
Wayne Hills is known for its tremendous sports teams and athletes, but some athletes don't always get to shine in the spotlight, but definitely deserve the credit. Max Lieberman shines in this edition of Athlete Spotlight as an outfielder for the Patriots baseball team.
Max Lieberman is a 4-year member and veteran player on this Wayne Hills baseball team. He shows that hard work and dedication results in a higher level of play. With a strong bat and a good arm in left field, the coaches are excited for the contributions Max can bring to the team. He is a good motivator and is excited to start this 2010 season.
During the off-season, the team, we went to down the block to overtime every Monday, and we did fielding, hitting, pitching. Also, we went to batting cages a couple times, threw around, whatever was good. Veteran member, 4-year senior, try to help out the younger kids mostly, help them mature and become better players, help them through the tough times and, the good times. I'm there for support, cheer them on, here to have some fun. The personal goals is, maybe not personal for me, but for the team, is to win the county championship and be Florida States. Yeah, I think it's time for me to hang up the cleats after in June or May. It's been a nice run, but it's almost time. Probably don't have the skills, and due to the fact I love the game, it would be nice, but I don't know if it's an option at this point. Yeah, definitely. Since freshman year, I was inexperienced, didn't know what I was really doing. Since now I'm more confident in the outfield, better teammate, just, understand the program a lot more. As a player, I believe my specialty is a motivator. I motivate everyone from, from the field to the dugout to the cage to the locker room. I'm just the best motivator there is. Yeah, this year our schedule is a lot different. We're playing Joe's, Bosco, Bergen Catholic. Definitely a lot different schools we've played. We haven't seen these schools, so we don't know, what their strengths are, weaknesses are. So it's gonna be a challenge, but we're up for it. And Coach I says we're gonna do well, so we'll do well. Coaches have helped us, throughout the year. September we started lifting twice a week. Started throwing in September. Every week keep on doing more and more baseball things. Keep on thinking about April 5th, which is the first day. We have 27 games. I think we'll go 20-7. And I think we'll battle out a nice little county championship. Maybe hopefully get a nice state championship, but we have to work for that.
Wayne Hills celebrates all around. Great game for them as they defeat their crosstown rivals, the Wayne Valley Indians, by a final score of 4-2.
I'm so hungry. I really cannot wait to get back on the field and just really rip teams. I can't wait to play Rampo again, get some really good revenge on them, and I just can't wait to get back on the field. I think most of our motivation comes from the loss versus Rampo and the St. Joe's loss. Next year, we really do not want to lose. We want to take it every game one step at a time and really just play our A game in every single game. Yeah, I'm 100% positive we will win it all. We get everything to the next level. Everyone needs to step up and just play their best and get as big and strong as they could and as fast as they could.
The upcoming 2010 football draft has everyone buzzing about the upcoming football season. Steve Rubin, Max Beck, and Doug Schweibel describe who they think will get drafted when, and we even get to see Steve Rubin get down in a stance. Let's take a look.
Hello and welcome back to Game Time. I'm Doug Schweibel here with my counterpart, Max Beck.
and we're going to be taking a dip into the NFL draft.
We're going to be determining what makes NFL skill position matchups and what makes one player better than the other.
We're going to be describing the likes of Javid Best and CJ Spiller.
Sam Bradford versus Jimmy Clausen.
Sue versus McCoy.
Eric Berry versus Taylor Mays.
And we're going to be taking a dip into the big guy out of Oklahoma State, Russell Okong, and seeing what makes him such a great player. Now we're going to toss it down to Steve.
Hi, I'm Julian Mayer here with Steve Rubin, and we're back at Game Time. So we here at Game Time and wondering, who's better, Ndamukong Suh or Joe McCoy?
We will here on the field today. We will analyze who has better pass rush, who has a better rush, run rush, who has better athleticism and versatility on the field. First here, we'll be analyzing Ndamukong Suh. In my opinion, Ndamukong Suh is probably the more versatile one, in that with his body size and athleticism, he could play in the 3-4 or the 4-3. 4-3, where the tackle will be playing more as if Julian was the guard on his outside shoulder, anywhere to the center's play side shoulder. Where if he was playing for the 3-4, he could be playing anywhere from the center to onto the tackle, offensive tackle. His main weapon is that he gets on his hands on people. Right here, he grabs on the point of attack onto just like if Julian were the offensive tackle, and is able to move him around. Now he has quick feet because he played soccer most of his life. We're at a point where he's quicker than the offensive tackle, gets around him, and is able to catch the running back in the backfield. Jared McCoy's positives are definitely what most NFL scouts have been saying, his pass rush. If Julian were the offensive guard or offensive tackle, as McCoy might be playing either, once again, the 3-4 or the 4-3, he has probably the best swim move out of all defensive tackles, gets around low, and gets to the quarterback quick. Next, we'll be looking at the offensive tackles in the draft, and there's one in particular in Russell Okong out of Oklahoma State, who has a 6'6", 310-pound frame. He's able to stop any pass rusher who tries to bull's rusher.
All right, I'm going to be playing the defensive end, trying to go past Mr. Russell Okong over here. So, Steve, take it away.
As the pass rusher tries to rush in to Russell Okong, the main thing he uses is his arms. He has very long arms for someone who's 6'6", and his knees. He's for such a big guy, he has such great balance right here in his knees that it's hard for any defensive end who's probably 6'6", 260 to move his 50-pound more body.
For me, really, what separates Javid Best and CJ Spiller is the speed and explosiveness. Sometimes you get a player who's got a lot of speed but doesn't know how to use it in the NFL. CJ Spiller knows how to explode through the defense and really accelerates when he hits the second gap of a defense.
It's Spiller's athleticism and speed that separates him from Javid Best. In the special teams game, I think Spiller has that speed that would make him better than Best.
Out of the lack of QBs in this year's draft, I really think Jimmy Clausen is going to stand out. He's got an NFL body, he's got some raw talent coming out of high school, but he had 3 years in Notre Dame, harnessed the talent in Notre Dame, didn't have such a great career at Notre Dame, but I can really see him making a difference at a Buffalo, a Jacksonville, if he really drops to number 10, but I see him getting taken before Bradford.
I give Bradford the edge over Clausen because of his field intelligence and the fact that he had a much better career when he was healthy. And I feel that Jimmy Clausen always had weapons to throw to, and Sam Bradford had to make his own weapons, like Jermaine Gresham. Bradford should excel more in the NFL if he can come back from a shoulder injury.
There's two distinct safety that really come to mind when you think this year's NFL draft. It's Eric Berry and Taylor Mays. I really give Taylor Mays the edge because of his body size. He's built like a linebacker, runs like a cornerback. Perfect body size, especially for that Steeler defense. I see him getting taken late first round, but not after Berry. It's a great pick.
In this year's draft, you got to go with Eric Berry over Taylor Mays. He had 6 interceptions last year compared to Taylor Mays' 3, and Eric Berry should be selected around in the top 5 overall, and he majored in psychology, so he should be able to get into quarterbacks' heads.
Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Game Time. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, I'm Kevin Solomon, saying so long, and let's go Patriots. Hello, and welcome to this month's episode of Game Time. As always, I'm your host, Kevin Solomon. When we come back, we take a look at Max Seidman and his love for the sport of deck hockey. Don't go away. Game Time continues right after this.
And here comes Ricky off to a good start with the salad and Elmo milk. He's going for the nacho cheese chips. Oh, and he puts them back and goes for the classics. An interesting choice there.
Looks like he wants to eat more healthy today, John. And now it looks like he's going to get a cookie.
Oatmeal.
Oh, baby, that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's nacho cheese, though.
Hustle, determination, sweat stains. Max Seidman. A member of Chris Ionello's deck hockey class, Seidman does one thing. He goes hard. Seidman loves gym class, and deck hockey is no exception. He plays for 42 minutes straight, often getting to class early to stretch and do calisthenics. When the whistle blows, he's ready to go. 5 goals a day is his average, and diving on the floor to save the ball is not out of the question.
To me, deck hockey is the greatest sport in the world. Every day when I come into school, 8th period, my gym class, it's the one period I look forward to. All I ever look forward to during the day is deck hockey. I go to sleep and I dream about deck hockey. That's what it means to me.
Seidman. He really isn't even that good of a player. Not really a team player. Tries very hard. I don't even think he scored a goal this whole gym class.
Well, you know, they're just jealous of my game. Maybe they should get a little better, and then they would learn what deck hockey really means.
As a star hockey player, I know what it takes to be a hockey player. And Seidman, he just doesn't have it.
You know, I definitely have to model my game after Marty Brodeur when I play in the goal, but definitely Ilya Kovalchuk, the forward for the New Jersey Devils, when I playing on the court.
You know, it really gets me angry every time Seidman gets picked as on the same team as me because I know it's an automatic loss. He thinks he's good, but he's really not.
Max Seidman goes overly hard on the deck hockey floor. I go home with bruises on my shins every single day in and day out. It's just absurd.
Well, going hard is the only way I know how to go. I go soft, I wouldn't just get the right workout out of it. I go hard, fulfills me for the rest of the day.
I mean, you see Max Seidman walking out of gym class every day. You look at the rest of the class, they're all chilling, they're all calm. He's dripping in sweat. He smells disgusting. It's under his armpits, it's like puddles. It's gross.
Oh, the sweat stains are incredibly annoying. I wish I didn't have such overflowing sweat glands, but, you know, that's just how the way life is. You know, my advice to future deck hockey players is go hard. Don't hold anything back.
Max Seidman did this to me in deck hockey.
This year has been full of creative productions made by our TV production students. Our parent company, MSG Varsity, is holding awards for the best overall production. Some of our students put together a compilation of their own videos. First up, John Vitas. Let's take a look.
Over the past year here at Wayne Hills, I've had the privilege of calling over 20 games in 8 different sports. Here's a highlight of the past year. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to today's high school basketball matchup between your Wayne Hills Patriots and the St. Joe's Green Knights. I'm John Vitas, here with Joe Rapp. The block down low to Quinn, nice dish. Coach Catalano dialing up the motion offense, and they worked it to perfection to get Quinn the easy layup. Coach Catalano being content with Hills holding the ball. Quinn gets inside, puts it up, and it's good! Mike Quinn uses the glass, and Hills goes on top by 2. As they've teamed up to shut down Hills' 2 best offensive threats. Getting inside is Heskins for the layup. So Matt Heskins coming off the baseline screen, he finishes and ties things up at 46. Heskins' first free throw is no good. Rebounded by Harris Simchuk, they still have a chance. 2 seconds to go, and Rosenberg loses the ball, and he goes out of bounds, and Wayne Hills pulls out the 50-48 thriller. Playing a good game right now. I mean, their defense is doing their best, but when they get control of the puck, they're just flicking it down into Valley's end and giving themselves a chance to catch their breath. When their forwards control the puck, they need to take it down the ice and really control the action and push the tempo a little bit. Here comes Ricky off to a good start with the salad and Elmu milk. He's going for the nacho cheese chips. Oh, and he puts them back and goes for the classics. An interesting choice there.
Looks like he wants to eat more healthy today, John. And now it looks like he's going to get a cookie.
Oatmeal. First pitch, driven deep to right field. Durr going back at the track, looking up. It's out of here. And Wayne Hill takes a 4-1 lead. Obviously, the Mets are going to get a lot better, but the Braves, to me, have really stepped up to go from an average team to a playoff contending team. I'm here with Rams defensive end Ryan Neal, Wayne Hill's graduate on the St. Louis Rams. So, Ryan, you had your number retired here today at the basketball game. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Just it's real rewarding just to be back here at Wayne Hill.
Good job by Ryan Salerno after not breaking through on the initial surge, dropping back and following Blair Wynn through that hole and making the tackle, because if he got through there, he had a lot of running room in front of him. See, this is something Wayne Hill's offense hasn't had all year. It's been the Brian Dowling show as far as the running game is concerned. And now you bring in Trevor Jacobs, and it adds a whole other aspect to the running game, something St. Joe's definitely didn't see coming. But as far as my key player, I'm going to go with two guys in the middle for Wayne Hills, Nick Tuminello and Ryan Salerno. The senior defensive tackles, they both play on the offensive line. They're veterans. They're all-county selections from last year. They're Wayne Hills' two best linemen. Now, the big guy for St. Joe's is Kamal Hogan, number 4, the running back. Now, if Tuminello and Salerno can get penetration inside up the middle and force Kamal Hogan to the outside, I think Wayne Hill's linebackers have the speed to track him down. Max DiCarvalho split wide right. I formation for Hills to start it off. Quinn, play action, rolls right, he's gonna run, has it gained at the 35, gets to the 40, near sideline 50, and runs out of bounds at the 47-yard line. A nice run by Mike Quinn on first down, and Wayne Hills moves the chains on the very first play. Quinn under center though this time, fakes a handoff, drops back the pass, throws it deep to the end zone, caught, touchdown, Wayne Hill. On the first drive, Hills goes down the field and scores on Wayne Valley, 6-0 Patriots. Savastano in the shotgun, 4 receivers, 3 to his right. He's gonna look to throw to his right, pressure coming from the outside, and he's sacked by Wayne Hill. Steve Johnson coming around the end to make the play, and Valley turns the ball over on downs. First down for Wayne Hill. Hills shows a blitz, and they come. Savastano under pressure, and he's sacked, and he's gonna be taken back all the way to the 45-yard line. James DeLectis shot through the hole, and it's 4th and forever for Valley. Clock ticking, 15 seconds to go. They have no timeouts. They can't spike it, it's 4th down. 8 seconds to go. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Savastano gets it off. He's got to throw a Hail Mary. Looks down the field, chucks it as far as he can. In the coverage, incomplete. Wayne Hills wins the game by a final score of 7-0. She gets it to Giametta. Giametta corrals it, puts a shot on net. Deflected into the net, a goal by Brittany Galone, and Wayne Hills wins the North 1 Group 3 state championship.
Oh, baby, call your friends, Wayne Hills state champions, baby.
What a shot by Brittany Galone off the deflection from Jacqueline Giametta, and Wayne Hills wins the North 1 Group 3 state championship in dramatic fashion. Well, there you have it, the best of the past year. We can only hope that next year's school year gets even better.
Another productive student on the rise is Anthony Scadillo. He's had a lot of great productions this year. Let's roll the tapes.
Hi, I'm Anthony Scadillo, and this is Patriot Stadium. ...2009 wasn't the year that the Patriots anticipated, but it was still exciting, and I was there every down, analyzing, commentating, and discussing what happened. Let's take a look at what I had to say.
The atmosphere on the field is incredible. Fans are going back and forth on both sides, chanting at each other, and both teams are extremely excited for this game. I'm excited for this game. Guys, back to you in the booth.
Well, Jordan, I mean, it's all about the Fantastic Four. Obviously, St. Joe's has 4 D1 recruits all on offense. Kamal Hogan, the star running back, is going to break through that line on,
against us. And really, the Fantastic Four, our linebackers, James DeDelectis, Nick Massey, and Steve Johnson and Russell Picard are going to have to do a great job at stopping him after the initial game. Well, depending on how his knee is healed, I mean, that's going to have a major factor. But the fact that Brandon Jacobs is here shows that we have that competitive edge over Wayne Valley. I mean, if it's not on our home territory, then we bring home with us. Well, that's exactly it, John. The weapon, the only weapon. That's all they have right now. And, you know, they're going to attack that. They're going to blitz every single down. They're going to attack the quarterback so he rushes throws, and our secondary is going to have to make plays. And it was a great game last week, and let's take a quick look at the highlights against Old Tappan. Wayne Hills started off strong.
But Old Tappan started off the game with a few powerful runs, as you see here. This quickly turned into a touchdown for the Golden Knights. And then, after a Wayne Hills turnover, Old Tappan gets another first down. But that doesn't happen often, and Wayne Hills corrects their mistakes with a Brian Dowling interception. And he's going to take this one all the way into the end zone. Then Quinn goes deep down the sideline, back to Dowling for his second touchdown of the night. Then the defense takes over with Nick Massey shooting through the hole for the sack. This time Quinn finds a new target in Mike Drees, and he puts on the move, switching from left to right and back to the left, in between defenders before getting pulled down. The Mike to Mike connection continues as Quinn finds Drees for the score deep down the middle of the field, and that continued the onslaught for the Wayne Hills Patriots.
That Wayne Hills has been lacking. It has been kick and punt returns, and a nice job there by Brian Dowling getting to the outside, switching directions, and, you know, he just does a great job changing directions. I mean, he's got quick feet and great lateral movement. Well, Sparta knows exactly what they're up against, the Wayne Hills defense, and that is one of the strongest defenses in Passaic County and Bergen County in the state of New Jersey. I mean, we're talking about some of the most ferocious hitters and tacklers, and you got guys running all over the field. You know, the versatility of this defense is incredible. You have a lot of the offensive stars on the defense, so the athleticism in there. So really what they need to do is be able to exploit the deep ball. If they can get it over the top and establish the run, they could put up a good amount of points. Green, we got trips left, Quinn's right, Dowling's in motion, a pitch to him, he's got blockers in front of him. Let's see if he can make something out of this. He tries to bounce to the outside, and he does! Touchdown, Brian Dowling!
Key player for today's game.
It's gonna be Brian Dowling. If he can establish the run, the pass will be open.
Okay, number 2. You mentioned Dowling. Dowling over or under 150 yards for the game.
Well, not knowing much about this Spartan defense, I'm going to say under, but he's going to have a great game.
Everyone knows I love Matt DeBlock. Over or under 3.5 touchdowns for the day.
Let's go with 2 tonight.
Okay, 2's understandable. And the last one, your pick for the game, Anthony.
I really think Wayne Hills is going to come out on top 34-7. Yeah, Jordan, that's a good point, but Paramus is a dangerous team for one reason. There's no tomorrow for them. This is a bonus. They're going to come out firing on all cylinders. There's no reason why they won't unleash every single thing they have on Ramapo, which Ramapo is a very good team, but I would be very scared of the underdog in this situation because they're going to come at you. John, I want to throw these stats at you. Over the course of the first 2 games, Brian Dowling has 263 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns and averaging 131.5 yards per game. Michael Quinn, the quarterback, has had 325 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. When you have this kind of production from your junior running back and senior quarterback in the first 2 games, how do you lose? Honestly, the difference is experience.
Hills looks to rebound next year, and I'll be with them every single down. From Patriot Stadium, I'm Anthony Scadillo. Thanks for watching.
Next up, yours truly. Let's take a look at some of the videos I've made this year and some of our past memories. Hello, my name is Kevin Solomon, and only in my second year of TV production, I learned a lot of new things. Working with new friends to create top-notch videos under the leadership of our teacher proved to be a great experience. Hosting a new sports-based show, making our own promotional videos, and creating an in-studio sports talk show were just some of the things we did this year. Let's take a look at some of these videos. Thanks for watching. hustle, determination, sweat stains. Max Seidman. A member of Chris Ionello's deck hockey class, Seidman does one thing. He goes hard. Seidman loves gym class, and deck hockey is no exception. He plays for 42 minutes straight, often getting to class early to stretch and do calisthenics. When the whistle blows, he's ready to go. 5 goals a day is his average, and diving on the floor to save the ball is not out of the question.
To me, deck hockey is the greatest sport in the world. Every day when I come into school, 8th period, my gym class, it's the one period I look forward to. All I ever look forward to during the day is deck hockey. I go to sleep and I dream about deck hockey. That's what it means to me. You know, my advice to future deck hockey players is go hard. Don't hold anything back.
Max Seidman did this to me in deck hockey.
Hello, welcome to the 30-minute drill. I'm Kevin Solomon, and next to me I have the infamous Max Seidman. Max, it was a big day for the NFC on Sunday. The Giants defeated a strong Cowboy team, in which may have got them back on track. What can you tell me about that game and how it'll affect them for the rest of the season? You know, we're going to break down the October Classic. The Yankees, Phillies, tell me your thoughts on that.
Well,
Both offenses are stacked. Phillies have Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins. Yankees obviously have a stacked lineup. Who do you think is going to be more of a factor in this series? And you could say, you know, coming into this series, the Yankees are probably heavily favored. What is it going to take for the Phillies? More importantly, who is it going to take for the Phillies to, you know, be successful in this series and ultimately win it? Thank you, Ryan. We're all looking forward to the NBA season, that's for sure. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, the 30-minute drill will have more sports talk. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Gametime. I'm your host, Kevin Solomon. Unlike our previous show, the 30-minute drill, where we discuss specific sports performances, here on Gametime, we will talk about timeless events and sports situations. Breaking away from the traditional set, we're going outside the box. When we return, Andrew Monaghan and Chris Massood introduce their new segment called Gold Bits with beloved Patriots coach John Goldstein. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hi. Welcome to the March edition of Gametime. I'm your host, Kevin Solomon. We've been working very hard towards continuing the success of this show. This month, we take a look at signing day. 5 Wayne Hill students decided to sign with Division I schools. Let's take a look at what they had to say and where they are going. We would like to take this opportunity here at Gametime to wish all of our Wayne Hills athletes good luck as they continue their athletic career at the next level. Unfortunately, not everyone can have a successful college career. We take a look at the accomplishments and downfalls of college athletes in this next segment called Beasts or Busts. Well, that's all the time we have for on this month on Gametime. Thank you for helping to make this first show a success. We look forward to its progress with your help. Until next month, I'm your host, Kevin Solomon, saying so long and have a warm February. Chris Fonte joins Greg Schiano and the Rutgers football team next season. Fonte, varsity starter for the Patriots for 2 years, committed to the Scarlet Knights as a junior. Fonte was one of the most highly recruited players in North Jersey. He follows in former Wayne Hill football players' footsteps, including St. Louis Rams, Ryan Neal, high school phenom Ray Van Peenan, and Patriot standout Chaz Lynn. Fonte plans to join the Rutgers offensive line and hopes to play as soon as possible. Rutgers is part of the Big East and is looking to continue to move their program forward. Fonte hopes he can make a difference right away. Coach Olson looks forward to watching Fonte on television and says he has come a long way since the awkward freshman days. He leaves for training camp the day after graduation. We may not have an equestrian team here at Wayne Hills, but we sure can hurdle like horses. Let's take a look at the hurdlers of the track team.
Trying to instill a sense of structure and hard work in the entire team, hoping that will improve their endurance and provide them with a solid basis of which to train off of.
My name is Matthias Lumetti and I'm a junior at Wayne Hills High School.
Stephanie Chaps and I'm a junior.
I'm Thomas Auerbach. I'm a sophomore hurdler.
Mainly I just look for every runner to improve as the season goes on. The 400 intermediate hurdles, The boys have the 110 high hurdles, and the girls have the 100 high hurdles.
Well, my main goal for intermediate hurling is to get under 70 seconds.
My goals for this year, I want to get under 60 in the 400-meter hurdles and to get about a 16.5 in the 110-meter hurdles.
Well, since I'm a beginner, my goals are, I want to get a great 400 hurdle time, like probably under 70. Under 70 is a good time. And for my 110, I just want to get under 20. I'm shooting big, and I want to do really good this year.
They're doing okay so far. Could be doing better, but making progress.
Hurling, you can run and be distracted by a hurdle, so it's not just all running.
I'm hoping that the girls can place in maybe the counties, being that they're juniors now. They could probably place in the counties. The boys, I'm just looking for them to hit their time goals that we have for them. Form is very important with hurdling, more so in the 110 high hurdles and the 100 high hurdles than in the intermediate hurdles.
What I like about hurdling, there's always a challenge involved. It's not just straight open running, which is boring. You get to run, you get to jump, you get to basically enjoy yourself out here instead of just running.
I don't think that the lack of senior leadership will affect us very much. We have a group that's been around for a couple of years, and they've been together, they know each other, they know what's expected of them, so I don't think that we have any real negative effect on it that we don't have any seniors on the team.
One day, they were holding open tryouts for the hurdling team, so I went, since I was tall, I went over my first hurdle, I cleared it fine, I liked the air going against my face, I felt great, and ever since then, I'm a hurdler.
My friend Katine, she drew me to hurling. She told me it was going to be fun, so I was like, I'll give it a shot.
Well, my friend Rich one day just told me TS you're doing hurdling, so I just basically went and did it, and now I'm a hurdler. It feels pretty good.
Everyone should come try hurdling because you may not like regular running and not want to come out for track, but the thing is, with hurdling, it's not regular track. It's fun.
Like one of my opponents had a t-shirt that said, "I'm not scared to do something different," and I feel the same way.
Anyone can run. It takes someone special to hurdle.
Attacking other people may sound like a crime, but in lacrosse, it's how you win games. Let's take a look at the successful attackmen on the Wayne Hills lacrosse team.
It's been an interesting year so far offensively for us. We have a new attack unit core. Alex Bellegarde he's played since his freshman year in attack. Chris Massood, who was a midfielder, has been converted to attack. And Dougie Schweibel's a new addition who's a sophomore this year. And they've actually really started to gel together nicely. A lot of our goals have been coming from that. Massood has actually been a feeder, and he's been a creator. Dougie has been a finisher, and Bellegarde is probably one of the better attackmen in the league right now. And he's doing a great job. He's drawing a lot of attention from the defenses and double teams, and he's moving the ball, and the other guys are profiting from that. And Massood he's a quick, hard-nosed player, and he's going to do whatever it takes. So they've really started to gel together nicely. We're only halfway through our season or so. We've got, we're looking for great things to come from them for the rest of the season as well.
As a unit, our attack is very good. We all bond very well. We have some great shooters. We got Bellegarde sitting on the right side, just cranking shots all day. We got Dougie sitting in the crease, cherry picking me, coming around the goal. We're all looking good. We're definitely the more strong point of the offense. Our attack is huge, so yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
All three of us? Well, Massood's the assist man. He's great coming from behind the goal. He's dodging hard. He's really going hard during the games, and it's paying off. He's got probably the most assists on the team by a lot. And Schweibel's all over the crease. He's working hard. He's getting a lot of goals. And
Really, we're a lot of different players, all playing for the same team. We like to put the ball in a lot more than last year. Scored 19 in one game, 12 in another. We can really put the points up. What our really weakness is keeping the ball in the zone. We need to learn how to calm down. But basically, we have Chris going behind. He's very fast, very dynamic. Bellegarde, who's got the 90-mile-an-hour shot. He loves the shot fake. And then I just bring it from the left side, try and finish my shots.
He knows how to get around defenders and make that extra shot and make that goal, and always pumps up the offense and makes me want to score goals, makes Dougie want to score goals, makes everyone want to score goals.
Bellegarde's a very dynamic player who loves his head fakes, loves his shot fakes. He scores a lot of goals. Very fast shot. I wouldn't want to get in the way of that ball, but all in all, he's a great player who just has great eyes, great vision.
I think Doug's an awesome player too. I mean, he knows where to be. He's always at the right spot at the right time. He always knows where to be. Catches the ball lefty, and it's huge that he's a lefty, because having a lefty on your team makes such a huge advantage, because now they got to watch the right side and the left side, and not only cut off the right side of your offense, which is also a great thing. So,
cherry picking. He's all over the crease. He's good. He's got some little fast, quick movements, and they don't see it coming.
Good. Loves taking the ball from behind. Great speed, great athleticism. He really knows how to finish. Needs to get it more on the left side. Help out your boy Doug. But really, I think Chris is one of our best attackmen. I think he just creates offense.
Massood, the assist man. He's all over there.
A dynamic trio, definitely. We're all different. We all have our own little thing that we're good at, and that's definitely what we are.
One nickname for the attack? I don't know, the Monsters?
One nickname for the attack. Well, I've got a nickname. They gave me Cherry Picker because I love to stand by the net popping goals, but I really think we're just, if I were one word to sum up the season would be dynamic. I really think at will we can score at will, so I just think we're very good.
Top of the keys, passing a little bit more, maybe he heard our advice. Never mind, he takes a shot, and he completely ignores what we said, and he is successful. Takes a long shot from the top of the key. Catch the ball on the toes. Excuse me, Steve Rubin, but Wayne Hill's wanted to score right now. That's number 8, Chris Massood. He goes in with the inbound play, comes on the left side, and scores from the ball, but back to the offensive line.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to the season finale of Game Time. As always, I'm your host, Kevin Solomon, and for the last time, I will be hosting this show. So what better way to start off with the segment by our upcoming TV students, Justin Varela and Kyle Zarnecki. Let's take a look at their mini golf challenge.
World Golf Works on this beautiful summer day as Kyle Zarnecki and Justin Farella face off in a Tournament of Champions. And here's Justin with the shot. Oh, it's off the lighthouse. And here's Kyle with the shot, the windup. And oh, there it goes. It's in the hole. Justin's next shot. And it can't quite make it up the hill. Let's see if Kyle can have some better luck on this one. And there's a shot. And there it is, another one. And here's the next hole. Kyle with the shot. It's straight, and it is good. Nice shot. And Justin with the pitching wedge. Oh, wow. Oh, no. What is he doing out there? He looks stupid. Looks like Justin should be a fisherman instead of a golfer. We take you to the spiral hole where Kyle hits it up the ramp. And Justin's he's out of it. And the ball, goes in the hole. Well, yet again. And here's Justin at the rock. And here's the shot. Oh, come on, man. That's not good. All right, let's see if Kyle can help Justin a little bit. He's been struggling all day. Oh, and it's the first one Justin's made in under par. Congratulations. And here's Justin's very next shot. Could it be? Oh my, I don't believe what I just saw. It's a hole-in-one. High five. And here's Kyle's last shot of the day. And, oh, it's looking good. It's looking good. And there it is. Yet again, he hits a hole-in-one.
So I'm here with Wayne Hill's golfing stud, Justin Farrella. So Justin, big event, probably the biggest golf event of your life. I mean, you've been doing this your whole life, but you looked a little shaky early on, maybe a little nervousness. Did you feel the nerves at all?
Oh, no, not at all. I just came in. I think Kyle had the upper hand. He definitely practiced, and he knows the course well. So, he just had the upper hand, like I said.
Now, it seemed like you really hit your stride around the 16th. Now, what happened there?
Oh, well, we had the little teamwork effort in the gazebo over there, Kyle, and then I guess I just got his little touch of magic because the next hole, boom, hole-in-one, and that's it. Like you said, got the stroke.
Well, you guys certainly had a good effort today, so good luck in the future.
Thank you.
And there it is, folks. Let's take a look at the final stats for today's match. And Zarnecki clearly dominated Farrella, going 24 under par. I don't even think that's possible. And take a look at Farrella's stats. They're not up to par, to say the least. 15 over.
Oh, that was terrible. That was good. You gotta give him a hug, come on.
There are a few things better to watch than American football. One of those things? Powder puff football. At Wayne Hills, the senior and junior girls got together to play a game of flag football. It was one we will never forget. Let's take a look at this unforgettable matchup.
The tables are turned. No longer are fans coming to watch the dominating Wayne Hills boys football team in Patriot Stadium. Now, all eyes are on the junior and senior girls. They will compete against one another, fighting for bragging rights in a 7-on-7 flag football game. There are 4 12-minute quarters, and a first down is 20 yards. Players must keep their flags on the outside of their waists, accessible for the other team to grab. A touchdown is 7 points, and after each touchdown, the opposing team gets the ball on the 20-yard line. Now, here's a look at the starting lineups for the junior and the senior girls.
The Senior Student Council organized the actual event with some help from the Junior Student Council running the concession stand. The boys had a lot of football, the Patriots football team is renowned in this school, so we wanted to give the girls a chance to show their stuff. So the juniors versus the senior girls had a powder puff football game.
I mean, what does the playbook look like?
Yeah, we got a couple trick plays. As you can see in my handy dandy notebook right here, there's a couple things up our sleeves. We're gonna try to stick to the basics, but if we need it, we're gonna pull a few of them out of the bag.
The seniors won the twin toss and started the game with a solid run by Justin Nigris. Junior Adelise Gomez made the flag bowl, keeping the run to 7 yards. On the next play, Coach Quinn broke out some of his sneaky offensive plays as senior Sarah Kaufman tossed the ball to Juriel Echo, who sprinted 71 yards to the end zone to give the seniors a 7-0 lead. The juniors did not look good on their first defensive set. However, they showed that they weren't going to give up easy. Coach Brian Dowling set up Steph Chowks in the running back position, and Amanda Groves handed it off to her. She ran it all the way to the end zone. No senior showed the ability to catch up with the track star. The game was tied 7-7. Then Coach Nick Massey had a few words to say about his young and inexperienced team.
Well, we haven't practiced much. We're coming into this game a little blindfolded, but these girls have heart. And heart's what wins games.
The seniors then showed their versatility and handed the ball off to Caitlin Schweigart, who had a solid 13-yard run before having her flag pulled by an excited Gabby Romagnola. Now here's commentator John Vitas.
And it's a reverse
cutting across the field. Jess Lash is going to try to make the tackle. She can't get the angle. First down, Seniors, and there's a huge collision on the far side of the field. Look at the block, John. That is what I came tonight. Wow.
The juniors gave the ball to Chaux before time ran out in the second quarter, where she stepped out of bounds at the 50-yard line. The first half ended with the score 35-14. Junior Coach Lowe had some words to say about his sneaky playbook for the next half.
Well, really, the playbook's all up in my head. It's right here. I got it all planned out for our girls. We got a couple trick plays in store for today. We'll say that.
The second half started with a solid run from Allie Nurek, who was handed the ball by Gross. She went out of bounds at the 49-yard line when she was pushed out by Senior. Nurek tripped all the way down to the 44-yard line, where she took a late hit to the head by another Senior. The following play, Amanda Gross dropped back to make a pass to Emily Rubin, who was not able to complete the pass. However, the same Senior who just hit Nurek took a shot at Rubin too. Referee Venti rushed over to the scene to break it up. The intensity was clearly hitting up on the turf. The Seniors got the ball back and gave it to Danny Van Clive. She sprinted down the sideline into junior territory, but Daniela Roma did not give up, catching up to Van Clive around the 20-yard line and grabbing the flag. The great play did not pay off though, as on the next down, Mackenzie Cochran dropped back and fired a beautiful throw to Hannah Blake, who was very excited to contribute to the senior lead. The final play of the game was a nice pass from Cochran to Van Clive, ending in a touchdown. The seniors celebrated in the end zone over their big victory of the inaugural Powder Puff flag football game. The final score was 56-21.
Powder Puff was a huge success. More people came than I even expected, and the girls all playing had a great time, and I definitely think that it will continue in the years to come.
I think I speak for all of us when I say that we look forward to more Powder Puff games to come in the future. And before we end our last show here on Game Time, what better way to do it than end it with a segment of my own? In this next segment, we take a look at our dodgeball team, called the True Dodge Masters of New Jersey, as we gear up for the 2010 Dodgeball Tournament at Wayne Hills. Let's check it out. The True Dodge Masters of New Jersey are ready for another successful year at the annual Dodgeball Tournament at Wayne Hills. A team composed of James DeDelectis, Kevin Solomon, Matt DeBlock, Matt Smith, Dan Kioka, and Allie Barlow have been holding practices in order to get ready for the games. They feel very confident about their chances.
The key to success, we got to play together. We're a great team. We have good chemistry. If we just play our game, we're going to come out on top with the championship.
Well, let's start off with Kevin. Kevin's just an overall great player. He throws the ball great, catches the ball great, and also he dodges great. The block, he's a great dodger, great, and he's got a huge vertical too. So that helps out a lot. Smitty, I would say his best bet on the team is since of his petite size, he's very good at dodging the balls. Yes, he just stands sideways and they won't hit him. Let's see. Dan, I think that he's a little on the loner side, and he thinks that he could just change the game by himself. But he is a great player. He is like a LeBron James. He brings a lot to the team. And Allie Barlow, she used to play center field at softball, so she's got a cannon.
My key to success is team chemistry. I feel that some people on this team don't really respect other people on the team, namely Matt DeBlock. I think Matt DeBlock can probably be a problem for us down the stretch. He thinks he's the best at everything he does. And while he is a very good dodgeball player, and I'm not as good as him at dodgeball, I still appreciate for him to not say mean things about me.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. You look at the weakest link, it's got to be Smitty. I mean, he can't throw, he can't jump, he can't catch. I mean, what can he do besides be skinny and not get hit by the ball because he's so skinny?
I think the key to success for our team was a good stretch in the beginning. So, we can get loose, no one pulls a hammy. And we're just 100% throughout the whole tournament. Second key to success, I believe, should be dodging. Dodging, dodging, dodging. Dodging.
Keep going.
Just like that, dodging. Dodging is the most important aspect of the game. That is why they call it dodgeball. Don't get hit by the ball is what dodging is. Typical day of practice, I think we start off with a great stretch. Great stretch, just loosen up the muscles so we could just have a great practice. Then I think the second thing we do in practice is an extreme off-the-wall throwing exercise where you got 3 people, one guy feeds the ball, other guy throws it, and then the other guy catches it. And it's just an intense drill that is every aspect of the game. Also, I think we then scrimmage a little, and we see what our weaknesses is, and then we just, we build on that. Another drill we do is the clock drill, where one person stands in the middle and just throw balls at them rapidly, and they must catch it or dodge the ball. And I think it's just a great all-around exercise.
They usually make me bring the sandwiches and the Gatorade to the practices. That's pretty much it.
If I had to compare myself to another professional dodgeball player, I would have to go with White Goodman. Not only does he rule with an iron fist, but he pretty much carries a team on his shoulders. And as many times as his shoulders may get tired, he has extremely large triceps, biceps, and he's just gonna win every time. So I would have to compare myself to White Goodman.
If I were to compare myself to a professional athlete, I'd be Hideki Matsui. I am Godzilla.
It's a simple question. The things that our team has and other teams don't have is me. I am the best player in the league. I jump higher than anyone in the competition. I have the hardest throw. I have 85-mile-an-hour fastball and a 65-mile-an-hour changeup. This team is just dedicated. We want to win, and we have been practicing as hard as any other team, and we're going to come out on top.
We are the true Dodge Masters of New Jersey, in every sense of the word. Well, that's all we have for this year. It's been a fun time. From the 30-minute drill to game time, I've been your host, Kevin Solomon, saying so long forever. I hope you enjoyed our shows.